Hello, I'm Luca and part of the development team here at AuraQ. Welcome to this Mendix tutorial where we'll be looking at pages. In these tutorials, we will walk you through the basics of low-code app development using Mendix. This video is part of our Mendix Fundamentals YouTube series, which covers 4 essential topics required to build an effective application. These include domain model, pages, security, and microflows. In this video, we'll be covering pages, how to add functionality to your application and make it user-friendly. We'll be using ideas learned in the first video, so check that out if you haven't already. During this series, we'll be building an event planning application for trail walking events, and we'll be continuing from where we left off, building the domain model. Let's get started. Pages contain all of the visual elements that will be displayed to the users. Here you will display information, create data inputs, and have navigation buttons. You typically will have overview pages with new edit pages for managing information, with forms and admin pages all seamlessly. It's recommended to have a wireframe of your page layout before you start developing. This can be done as a sketch or using a wireframe tool. In the last video, we showed how you can create pages from the domain model. Now we are going to work to user stories to develop the features. These are how we capture and manage delivery requirements in low code, following the principles of agile development. The first two are, as an application admin, I want to add route information so I can manage routes within the application. And the second one is, as an application admin, I want to add events information so I can manage events within the application. So we need to develop the route and events pages to provide all the features necessary to achieve this. The routes page will have information about the routes and events for the admin to access. We also want to be able to add and edit routes. There can also be multiple events to manage for each route. We'll start with removing everything in the routes overview page, then start to add some widgets. A widget is an artifact that can be used on a page to display and format information and allow users to interact with information. We can use widgets and building blocks to build functional pages. Building blocks are pre-built bundles of widgets that you can quickly use to build a page. So we will remove everything. Add the layout grid to keep everything in one place. Then add a list view to the page. These display a vertical list of records which you can configure to give the right amount of information. Open the list view and select the route as a data source. This will show all routes available in the database. There are several other ways of retrieving and constraining the information, depending on the complexity. For now, we'll use the database option. Layout grid is useful here to create a structure and add some elements. Layout grids are used often in pages to add rows and columns to separate content on the page. Here we can start defining the attributes to show each list item. You can add text to create a label, or add a parameter which will link the data being displayed. So here, we're going to add 2 parameters. Parameter you select by doing curly braces and then a number in between the braces. Once we go to edit, we can add a new parameter. So for number 1, we're going to have the name of the route. And then for number 2, we will have the location of the route. So now this will show the name and location of each route in the list. On this side, we'll have a little bit more information. We'll have the start point with a parameter, the distance, with the parameter and the difficulty with a third parameter. So we can add the start point for parameter number 1, the distance for parameter number 2, and then the difficulty for parameter number 3. Text style can be quickly chosen by selecting the render mode option from the drop-down here. This helps differentiate what text is most important and gets the user's attention. You can also design the appearance for widgets, for example, change the color or alignment. Here we would just change these to heading 4 to get them more bold for the user. Now we have list view set up, we should add a button to create a new route and one to edit a route. Here, there are lots of buttons with different functionality. Drag and drop a create button in the page. Which is going to create a new route. Select route on the pop-up. Now point the button to the route new edit page. I'm going to change the name of the button to new route and change the button style to success. There are the default Mendix colors based on the SAS style sheet and can be changed. That will be covered in a later series. Now we're going to add another column to this layout grid. And here we're going to add an edit button. Page, open page button here, which is also going to point to route new edit. And this one we will just change to edit routes. We now have a page to add new routes or to edit them. To access the page, we can add this page to the navigation menu. We go to navigation, new item, call this routes, add a map icon, map marker, and on click it's going to show a page which will be route overview. You can now save and run locally in the application on the local drive, giving you a preview of the app before the test. Select the routes page and try adding some new routes. If we look at the domain model, we can see that events are associated with routes with a many-to-one relationship. One way to view these would be to add a gallery within the routes list. That way, all events shown will be grouped within the route. So if we go to route overview, we're going to add a gallery, this time within the routes list. Galleries can be used to display multiple records horizontally and vertically, giving a card or a board view. We're going to open the gallery and choose the association this time when choosing the data source. We're going to go from route through to event. Again, we're going to format the view to show the right information. So we're going to add a layout grid, and then we'll fill this with the correct information. So we'll have some text. We'll start with start date for the first one. So heading. Then we'll add the name of the event. This will use the same parameter as the start date, but we're going to format it so it only shows time. So then under here we're going to add two buttons. First one we will do a blank button because it is going to be used for a page we haven't created yet, which will be a view event. We're going to add an icon to make it more clear. Then we're going to change the render mode to link. Add some changes to the appearance as well, with the spacing top being out small and align self left. Then we're going to add an open page button, which is going to open the event new edit page. We're going to change this to edit event. Again, link, pencil to make it clear, spacing top outer small, and then align self right. Now we've got this, a container can be used to group elements and apply common functionality, such as visibility settings or formatting and alignment. To add a container, either drag and drop it from the elements, or right click on an element and select add container. So here we'll just grab a container, bring it across, and then we'll put the text inside. You can easily apply colors to the container to give it some contrast on the page and align the text to be centered as a column. Preview this by selecting on Design View in Studio Pro. We're going to add one final button as well, which is going to be a create button. And we're going to add it inside of the root list, outside of the gallery. And we're going to create an event through the root association. We're going to change this to new event. And once it's created this object, it's going to open the event new edit page. So now that we can view events here, we can remove the event overview page. So the next user story we're going to look at is, as a participant, I want a page to view all the event information with an example picture of the root. For the next section, we want to create an event page. In this view, we want to add dynamic picture that shows an image of the root for each event. To do this, we'll build the functionality to be able to add an image to the root. So we're going to go to the domain model and we're going to add a new entity. I'm going to call this root image. We're going to add a generalization for the system image entity. As mentioned in the first video, this allows the new entity to inherit all of the attributes and associations from the parent entity, giving us ready-to-made image entity to use. Then we'll give this a one-to-one association with the root entity. Next, we're going to go to the root new edit page. We're going to add a data view. And here, we're going to use through the association root to root image. Here we'll get rid of size root upload, so then we can see the image and then the name of the image that's been added. Under here, we're going to add a core microflow button, and this will be used to upload an image. So we're going to add a new microflow. We're going to call this, the naming convention always starts with ACT if it's on a button press, underscore root image create. So we'll change the name of this button to upload image. Next, we're going to add a new page that will be used to upload the image. Form, horizontal, call this root image new edit, pop-up layout, horizontal. Then we will add the root image as the data source. Again, get rid of size and root. Now that we've created this, we're going to go back to root new edit. We're going to change the layout to responsive. This is because it's best practice to not have more than one pop-out layered on top of each other to make it easier for the user experience. Now that we've got the page and the entity set up, we can go into the microflow and follow the steps to create the microflow. And you'll find more details on microflows in the fourth part of this video series. So we'll add an activity, which will be create. Here we can create the root image object and add the association to the root object. Now that we've done that, we can simply add another activity. This time, show page, which will show the root image new edit. So now in root new edit, when you click upload image, it'll run that microflow to create an image, add the association, and then show the page where then you can upload the image. And moving on to another user story. Next one is, as a participant, I want to register for an event so that the organizers are aware I will be attending. So the next part of the app is for users to view and register for events. So we're going to create a new page and select a blank page with Atlas default layout and name this event view. Blank Atlas default event here. Add this to the View Event button on the root overview page. On this page, we want to show the general event information with a register button, a dynamic image showing the route, and more specific event information below. So now that we have a record selected, the event that we want to view, a data view, is required. A data view is a starting point to access all the information related to one record. Once a record is selected, you can access the data or associations existing for that record. In this case, it's the event. So get to drag and drop a data view in here. Context will be event. Let's add some structure to the page. To break the page up, add 2 cards from the building blocks. In the top one, add a layout grid with 2 columns and move the text inside. From widgets, 2 columns, you can add the text here. And then in the bottom one, I'm going to get rid of this text, add another layout grid, this time with 4 columns, and then we're going to add another load of columns below with 4 columns. And then underneath this, I'm going to add a tab container. In that, it's going to contain the same layout grid. So now this is a structure built. Then we can change the text to display the event name and change the styles to heading 3 in the top one. Add a dynamic to this side of the layout grid, and this will be the image that you uploaded when you edit a route. So here, go through the data source from event to route, and then from route to route image. So now the image that will be displayed there will be the one associated to the route which the event is associated to. Next, we'll add all the static and dynamic text for the event view page. For location, we have to do something a little different as it's a property of the route entity. So on choosing the attribute is available through the event route association. So we will have to go from the event to the route, and from here we can then choose the location. Similarly for the distance, we have simplified this app to have full tickets and half tickets. This can be easily calculated in the expression editor as shown for distance and price. Again, for ticket cost, we'll have to use an expression to differentiate between a full event and a half event. So the first one will just be an attribute of the ticket cost because it's the full cost. And then the second one will again be an expression. We'll just tell him that ticket cost divided by 2. So now we have a good start to the event view page. Let's make the event overview page where all users will find events. This will be a simple gallery view with text and a view button. Now that we've got that, to make this easily available, we'll make it the default homepage for all users. Go to navigation, default homepage, to event overview. Calendar, show page. Next, we need to make a registration page for a participant. So we're going to create another page, call it event_register. So go to add a card, and then a data view inside for the event. Again, this will link the new participant to the chosen event. With the data view, we can add input elements to create the form. We'll start with a title on top so the user knows which event they're registering for. So we'll register for, and then the event name. So now we can add the form. For the form, we're going to add another data view inside of the event, and this one's going to be for a participant. So we don't need this, we do need this, and this, and this. Don't need the event. So this select participant can add their name, then they can choose which type of event they're doing, the full. So ticket type. We're going to add a bit of text under here to tell them what the price is depending on what ticket type they've chosen. This is going to be a simple if statement. It's a ticket price is if the participant type equals then ticket cost, the output will be the ticket cost divided by 2. The output will just be the ticket cost. And then both other options will be free, so the output will just be 0. So now that'll change the ticket price depending on which type of participation they choose. So then we'll have the transport arranged next. Don't need the induction. So it's required for the participant to have completed the health check before payment is made. So we can do some simple validation using conditional visibility. This will control whether the widget is shown or not depending on other values or logic. So on payment complete, we can add conditional visibility to based on attribute value. It's only visible when health check complete is clicked true. Most validation is typically done with microflows and will soon be shown in a later video. So then we'll return to the event view page. I'm going to add a button here to be a create button, which will create a participant, and then it will show the event register page. So that's it for basic functionality. You can run a review, test a few things, add some events, register for some events, make sure it's all working. That is all for the basics of Pages. Now that we have the user-friendly interface built, the next video will cover how to set up security to control the access to the application and control the permissions for each user. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. We'll make the application available to download as a package in the description. For more information about AuraQ, please visit our website, which is linked below.